President Joe Biden has just said that he has no regrets about keeping the classified documents found in different locations a secret to the American public until after the midterm elections. Seems like a weird thing to not have any regrets about. Former President Trump is now warning House Republicans to keep their hands off of Social Security and not to bow down to even more spending from the Democrats. Do you guys think that Social Security is much more important than sending billions of dollars overseas? Comment a quick yes or no on that one. And after saying that the president's Delaware home had no visitor logs, the Secret Service has now confessed that they have a list ready to go. Doesn't it seem odd that all of this is coming out right before President Biden announces his bid for 2024? It almost feels as if they're coming out by design instead of an accident, since the announcement is expected any day now. Now, before I continue, please take a second, smash the like button for the video. Totally appreciate that. That is a huge boost for the algorithm. And if you're in need of your daily dose of the truth when it comes to the state of our economy, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, the stock market, the housing market, and what the heck is going on in Washington, D.C. that affects our lives, our families, and our bank accounts, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is in the description down below of this video. Could we be seeing a different face lead the Democratic Party by 2024? It's not impossible, because you would have to be naive to think that everything that's been happening around President Biden is just a mere coincidence. But if it is, it's some of the worst luck that I've seen in a very long time. Kind of like getting crossed up by like 10 black cats in a row. That kind of bad luck. Now, after the American public was told by the White House that no visitor logs were available for his Delaware home, the Secret Service has now notified officials that they're ready to turn over the names of people who frequented the place, but only if Congress requests for it. Now, according to them, quote, the Secret Service does not maintain visitor logs at the private residences of protectees. While the Secret Service does generate law enforcement and criminal justice information records for various individuals who may come in contact with Secret Service protected sites, we are not able to comment further, as this speaks to the means and methods of our protective operations, end quote. Wait. So the White House lied in some way, but not completely, since there isn't really a formal list? Can we call this a white lie? I don't know. Anyway, so President Biden isn't too worried though, as he said this in a recent press briefing.
We found a handful of documents were filed in the wrong place. We immediately turned them over to the archives of the Justice Department. We're fully cooperating and looking forward to getting this resolved quickly. I think you're going to find there's nothing there. I have no regrets.
It's like he wants to say this. Come on, guys, don't worry. It's just secret documents that pertain to Ukraine, Iran, and the United Kingdom. No fuss, don't worry about it. And I mean, there wasn't a lot of it lying around in my garage next to my Corvette. Just relax. He also added that he's confused as to why he's being asked about the secret documents when he was in California to check the damage from storms that affected the area. He even said this: the American people don't quite understand why you don't ask me questions about that, end quote. Do you guys think that it's important for us to know what was in these documents, as well as why it was found early in November but kept hidden until the midterm elections? I feel like we're in the twilight zone and we can't get answers to the questions that we have from our own government. Now, speaking of the twilight zone, were you guys aware that while our country is at risk of defaulting on its debt, we are still set to send even more taxpayer-funded packages to Ukraine? This time, it's part of a $2.5 billion security package that will provide them with armored vehicles, some that Zelensky has been asking for.
The Biden administration has announced a new security aid package for Ukraine.
The Pentagon on Thursday announced a new Ukraine security package worth $2.5 billion US. According to the U.S. Department of Defense, the aid includes 90 Stryker armored personnel carriers, 59 Bradley fighting vehicles, and 53 mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles, or MRAPs. It also includes ammunition for the HIMARS rocket system. It's the second largest military support package from the Biden administration and follows a package earlier this month worth $3.8 billion.
Anthony Blinken, our Secretary of State, he said this in a statement, quote, the United States also continues to rally the world to support Ukraine. We have seen incredible solidarity from our allies and partners, including at today's Ukraine Defense Contract Group, and we applaud the more than 50 countries who have come together to make significant contributions to support Ukraine, end quote. Now, I think it would be best to ask our our government if they regret sending almost $30 billion to a war while American households continue to struggle right here at home, with fears of solvency for multiple government programs like Social Security, SSI, SSDI, SNAP, and EBT benefits, veteran and even retirement benefits in the balance. But still, their priorities, they seem to be clear. Since they've already talked about it, former President Donald Trump has warned fellow Republicans not to touch federal retirement and health benefits. According to Donald Trump, quote, "Under no circumstances should Republicans vote to cut a single penny from Medicare or Social Security. Do not cut the benefits our seniors worked for and paid for their entire lives. Save Social Security, don't destroy it," end quote. House Republican leaders echoed this statement as they have also called to preserve these programs that Americans are relying on right now. It's almost like stealing from the American people. Can you imagine paying 20, 30 years into a system guaranteed to be receiving a form of passive income in retirement, then all of a sudden telling all of these Social Security recipients, hey, we can't cut the checks anymore? President Trump, on the other hand, said that the Republicans should instead focus on all of the money being used on foreign aid. Ryan Lake of the DNC was not convinced and said this, quote, "Donald Trump's own record speaks for itself. Every year he was in office, Trump proposed cutting Social Security and Medicare programs. Americans overwhelmingly rejected the MAGA agenda of gutting Social Security, Medicare, and affordable health care in 2018, 2020, and 2022, and will do so again," end quote. Do you guys think that former President Trump changed his mind as he saw the pushback from Americans regarding these programs? And do you think that the government should focus on keeping them solvent? Or should we just let Social Security go bankrupt and stop cutting the checks? Let me know what you guys think on that one. The former President Donald Trump is also seeing a little bit of competition for 2024 as a group is now setting aside $3.3 million to help Florida Governor Ron DeSantis run in 2024. Now, according to the group's website, Ready for Ron, quote, "America is in grave danger from the radical left and their failed socialist woke policies. The America First agenda must be revived. Governor Ron DeSantis is the next great American president like Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump, who will turn our country around," end quote. DeSantis hasn't made any announcements for 2024, but he really hasn't shied away from the cheers regarding the possibility. Could we possibly see a completely different lineup next year? The rumors are for sure to keep flying around, so I will definitely keep an eye out for you guys. Now, on the topic of rumors, Ukraine President Zelensky suggested in a recent address to the World Economic Forum that Russian President Vladimir Putin was dead. He said this, "I don't really understand today who to talk to and what to talk about. I'm not sure whether the president of Russia, who sometimes appears to be on the screen somewhere, I don't quite understand if he is the guy. I don't understand if he's still alive or if it's him particularly making the decisions," end quote. The Kremlin basically told Zelensky to shut up as they say that Russia and Putin exist and will exist. Now, while I can't be certain of everything that's happening in these different countries, I am for sure of one thing that does exist in our country. Well, in our country today, it's high prices. And while it will help us a lot to budget our finances, one other way to take this dilemma head on is to improve our cash flow. Now, there's multiple ways of doing this, from investments to stock market to real estate investments and passive income. Of course, there's also side hustles and small businesses to increase your total number of streams of income. Now, if you guys are interested and you want to learn more, definitely join us over in the Patreon community. There's a link in the description down below. But before I go, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up for the video. Also subscribe to the channel for your daily dose of the truth. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.